All right, you got going on. It's your boy Town. All right, so I just decided to do a stream, because I just wanted to speak on this. I was a little out of it, a little tired, so, from working. So, doing conference to basically promote his upcoming fight with Jaime Munguia. When asked about facing David Benavidez, Canelo not only added insult to injury, he basically took a parting shot at David Benavidez, and he basically did the typical, well, I've earned the right to do this, I've earned the right to do that, I fight who I want. He just made every excuse on why he can fight David Benavidez. And of course, the media people didn't ask him the tough questions like they should have asked him. He basically said that he'll fight David Benavidez for between 150 to 200 million dollars. So basically saying it's going to take the Saudis to basically make that fight happen. And I don't even think that I don't even think that they'll give Canelo that type of money to fight David Benavidez. He said that the offer to David Benavidez for $5 million is cap, and he says that he don't know where that came from. Well, that's what they all say. And then you had people sitting up there just basically saying, well, oh, okay. Well, my question is, so you getting $150 million to fight Jaime Munguia? So that's basically what you're saying. So Al Heyman is paying you $150 million to fight Jaime Munguia. He said that he said $55 million ain't enough to fight David Benavidez. So I'm trying to figure out, well, how much money do you want? And anybody that was just buying that, I just don't know what to tell you, that you guys are Canelo extremists, or you just incredibly dumb. He doesn't want to fight David Benavidez, and that's just basically the bottom line. And he made it very clear he priced himself out versus David Benavidez. I'm sorry, I don't think even the Saudis are going to try to give Canelo, that type of money to fight David Benavidez. He said basically he can make that type of money fighting somebody else. But if you guys believe that, then you go right ahead. But I saw right through Canelo, and this is why there are certain fights that they don't let me in. This is why they don't let me cover Canelo fights. This is why they don't let me cover certain PBC fights, or this is why the PBC don't let me cover their fights, because they know that I'm going to ask questions that everybody else is scared to ask. I saw Ellie Nam sitting up, sucking up to him and kissing up to him, and some of my people. And some of them dudes, they're my people, but at the end of the day, they don't ask Canelo the tough questions because they're scared, that Canelo was going to cut him off, he's not going to talk to them and all that kind of stuff. And that's the problem with you boxers. And I'm just going to say that this goes for all y'all. You guys love it when people sucking up to y'all, saying y'all the best thing since sliced bread, and y'all the greatest and all this kind of stuff. But if somebody asks you a tough question without disrespecting you, then you get mad. You get an attitude. Oh, y'all don't know nothing about boxing. Oh, why are you here? Oh, you're a hater. So I'm a hater because I want Canelo to give us the biggest fight that could possibly be made this year. That's all them dudes was sitting up doing, was sitting up to Canelo. And for Canelo to sit up there and say something like that, he just pretty much showed that he don't want to fight the dude. Oh, he brings nothing to the table. He brings nothing to the table except 25 extra pounds. So that just goes to show you that Canelo is scared of his size. That means he's scared of the Canelo told everything in that interview. I told you Canelo's English is better than what he wants us to believe. Now, he understood every question that was being asked to him. I fight who I want. I fight. That's pretty much what he said. He fight who he wants. So Canelo, I can tell you pretty much there won't be no David Benavidez fight. He pretty much killed any notion that there was going to be a fight between him and David Benavidez. He flat out, and don't try to say that I'm twisting his words. He flat out said it. He said that give me $150 to $200 million, I'll fight him tomorrow. Well, I think anybody, I'll fight. Hey, listen, for $150 million to $200 million, I'll fight David Benavidez. I think anybody would fight David Benavidez for 150 to 200 million. For real, I think Shakur Stevenson would fight him for that kind of money. But this is what you have. You don't have real journalism. And then he is being protected by his minions, by his stands. And you have people cheerleading, yeah, see, Canelo's a boss. He ain't no boss. Canelo has clearly priced himself out. Al Heyman is not going to give him 150 million to 200. Like, how would they even turn the profit? For the PBC to turn the profit, if they gave Canelo 150 to 200 million dollars, they would have, for the PBC or anybody involved, they would have to like at $89 a piece, they have to sell at least 3 to 4 million pay-per-views to turn a profit. They wouldn't even profit if they sold a million pay-per-view buys. So he pretty much told you that they want to fight the dude. So there you have it. We got to stop playing. So the only way that fight is what happens if Saudis pick up the fight. So Turki Al-Sheikh is the only one that's going to be able to make that fight. And it's going to get to the point he have to ask himself, well, damn, if we give Canelo 150 million to 200 million, next dude is going to ask. So at the end of the day, they're going to have to like eventually like say, okay, I know we trying to make this like the new tourist attraction, this, you know, Saudi Arabia, but at the end of the day, it's going to get to the point, okay, well, we're losing more money than we're making. You really think they're going to keep just forking out 50 million here, 50 million there? Stop it. I know what they're doing. They're not going to just keep handing out that type of money. Next thing you know, the next dude, so if Canelo get 150 to 200 million dollars, then what's to stop somebody saying, oh, okay, well, if you gave Canelo 150 to 200 million dollars, okay, I want 225 million dollars to fight this dude. So y'all really think that they gonna start just handing out? It doesn't matter whether they got billions of dollars. You think they just gonna keep handing out that type of money? Like, stop it. Stop it. I gotta be the one to say it. They're not gonna keep just handing out that type of money. They're not gonna keep just handing out, you know, I'm serious. They're not gonna keep handing out that type of money, just like randomly giving people, like, for real. Y'all already know how this works. So to me, Canelo then pretty much priced itself out. Let's just say what it really is. So he get, like I said before, so he getting $150 million to fight Jaime Munguia. And if y'all believe that, you guys are for real. You guys are incredibly dumb. And I hate to use that terminology, but you guys just can't be this stupid. Right then and there, somebody could have said, so you're getting 150 for Jaime Munguia? I bet. So y'all believe for his next fight, so y'all believe that they gonna give him $150 million to fight Charlo? Y'all really believe that? Y'all really believe that? I just can't believe how naive and gullible that some of these boxing fans are. When I heard Canelo say that, I said, yeah, he pretty much told everybody, he told the whole world that he don't want no smoke with David Benavidez. And then he sat up there talking about he brings nothing to the table but 25 extra pounds. Where did that come from? So Canelo just showed that if he was to fight David Benavidez, that he would try to weight drain him. So that means that he would be worried about how much David Benavidez would rehydrate. Canelo pretty much revealed who he was in that interview. But at the end of the day, you guys sit up here and worship guys like that and sit up there and say, oh, he's earned the right. He ain't earned the right to fight whoever he wants. I don't know where this cuddling and babying Canelo has came from. I don't know where it came from. Where is it coming from? But it's just amazing that Canelo gets a free pass for his antics and the stuff that he says and does. He flat out told the media, he flat out told them, I'm not fighting David Benavidez. They're not going to be a David Benavidez, but he had already announced that he will. So this pretty much confirms that they won't be no David Benavidez fight. Won't be one anytime soon. So in all likelihood, Canelo probably in September, he probably will fight either, he might fight Terrence Crawford. He might fight Terrence Crawford, or he might fight Jermall Charlo. And then call it a day, or he might circle back to Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga was gonna be the dude he really was gonna be fighting. Now keep in mind, this just goes to show you that Canelo ain't truthful. We can find the audio in the video. Canelo saying, "Oh, I don't see myself fighting another Mexican." The only reason why he fighting Jaime Munguia is because Edgar Berlanga turned down the fight. Because Edgar Berlanga wasn't ready. So probably what's going to happen is Edgar Berlanga is going to get another fight in. He'll probably get another fight in. He probably get another fight in like maybe June. And then he'll fight Canelo probably in September. Either Edgar Berlanga, Jermall Charlo, or Terrence Crawford will be Canelo's next fight. Terrence Crawford might draw the most interesting fight, but at the end of the day, Canelo will still be Canelo. Listen. Canelo will be an overwhelming favorite in all three of those fights. Even against Terrence, he's an overwhelming favorite versus Jaime Munguia. See, the thing is, if he was to fight David Benavidez would possibly be a slight favorite. See, Canelo don't want to go into a fight being possibly the underdog, or the betting odds would be close to being even. If he fights Charlo next, he's going to be an overwhelming favorite. If he fights Edgar Berlanga, he's going to be an overwhelming favorite. If he fights Terrence Crawford, he's going to be an overwhelming favorite. See, I'm just the dude that's just keeping it real. I'm not worried about trolls. I'm not paying attention to trolls. I'm not paying, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying what a lot of people is afraid to say. Because they don't want to get ostracized. They don't want, like, you guys have to understand something. A lot of times they be wanting us media people to tread water. They want us to, walk a thin line. Y'all notice that these boxers, they only like us when we kissing up to them, when we saying how good they are and all this kind of stuff. Guys, he brings nothing to the table. 55 million. I can make that fight. Okay, Canelo. So okay, Canelo. So you getting 150? You getting 150 million fight Jaime Munguia? Stop the cap, man. Stop the cap. Your last fight flopped. Your last fight versus Jermell Charlo flopped. It flopped. So, in all likelihood, Canelo, when he fights Jaime Munguia, it'll be a competitive fight. Jaime will get some good licks in, but in all likelihood, Canelo he's gonna beat Jaime Munguia. He's gonna win probably a 12th round. I don't think he's gonna stop Jaime Munguia, but he'll just outbox him and he'll win another, typical 12-round decision. I mean, he's gonna go up. By the time the bell rings, he's already gonna be up 4 rounds to zip anyway. The only way Jaime Munguia is gonna beat Canelo if he stops him. He's gonna either have to stop him or he's gonna have to knock Canelo down at least 3 times, and he's gonna have to win every round after round 4. I'm talking about he's gonna have to dominate. He didn't win 3. Canelo didn't win 4 rounds versus Bibble, and all 3 of the judges had Canelo winning 5 rounds in that fight. And then when you looked at the scorecards, I think out of the 3 judges, 2 of the judges gave Canelo like the first 4 rounds. So what does that tell you? Jaime Munguia is going into that fight. He's going into the fight handicapped already as it is. He's the underdog. He's gonna be handicapped already. He's already gonna be down. By the time the bell ring, the first 4 rounds are gonna be given to Canelo anyway. We've seen this so many times with Canelo. So I mean, it's like, okay, why are we tuning into this? Is there really any interest in watching Canelo fight Jaime Munguia when you pretty much know what the outcome is going to be? You're not going to get up for a fight versus Jaime Munguia because we know what the outcome is going to be. When was the last exciting fight that we thought that Canelo was in that he had a chance of losing? Don't say the Bibble fight, even though Bibble on paper looked like he should have beat Canelo. But many of us thought, based off what we saw with Canelo before, that Canelo was going to win the fight. And the Bibble fight didn't do that well. And then, as you can see, Canelo turned down a rematch with Bibble. He was talking about, well, Bibble need to come down to 168 and fight me for undisputed. And then when Bibble called his bluff, he decided to go another direction. So like I said before, it's no real excitement when you watch a Canelo fight. It's no intrigue to when you watch a Canelo fight, and that's the problem. Because when you watch Canelo, you pretty much, based off who he's selecting, you pretty much figure what the outcome is going to be. Now, if he fights Terrence Crawford, due to the fact that it's Terrence Crawford, there will be a little bit of interest, but at the end of the day, you still have to keep it a buck. Canelo will still be an overwhelming favorite versus Terrence Crawford. Because one, Terrence Crawford would have had no experience fighting at a higher weight class. But Terrence Crawford may not get the Canelo assignment because Terrence Crawford apparently is supposed to get the winner out of Tim Tszyu, and Fundora. Now the winner of that fight allegedly supposed to have like five days to start negotiating with Terrence Crawford, or possibly they could be stripped or whatever the case may be. So let's just say they start an actual negotiation with Terrence Crawford. When would this fight happen? You got to at least think June. And then you have to ask yourself, even if Terrence Crawford fought late May, June, would he be ready for a fight like Canelo in September? Possible, but you would think they want to promote a fight like that, somebody of Terrence Crawford's magnitude, at least they would want Terrence Crawford to have at least possibly 4 months in between a fight with Canelo. But it could happen, because they could say they couldn't reach a deal, and Canelo could just say and just say, okay, I'll take Terrence Crawford, and Terrence Crawford could just say, okay, well, I'm gonna skip the fight. I'm gonna skip fighting at 154 versus the Fundora Tim Tszyu winner. But like I said, once again, it doesn't matter if Canelo fights Terrence Crawford. He's still going to be an overwhelming favorite to win the fight, just because of pure size alone. Now, skill set wise, let's just say Terrence Crawford and Canelo was the same size. Now, let's just say if Canelo stayed at 154, which he's long not been able to make 154. Let's just say Terrence Crawford quickly moved up the ladder and they fought at 154. Then it might be a more interesting fight. But you're talking about Terrence Crawford really still being at 147 because he hasn't officially moved up to 154, and then Canelo has been campaigning and went as high as 175. You got to think logically. And a lot of people don't think logical. I'm not thinking off pure emotion. I'm thinking logically. And logically, Terrence Crawford, in all likelihood, won't beat Canelo if they fought. Listen, Bo Mack is my guy. It sounds good. They talk a good game. It sounds real good, but I'm not stupid. There's never been a guy that jumped in the history of boxing, to my knowledge, that ever jumped up 3 weight classes and won undisputed. Ever. And even if Terrence Crawford was to take on the winner of Tim Tszyu, Fundora, he still have to jump up 2 more weight classes. So you would be talking about Terrence Crawford, even if the fight was to happen, you'd be talking about Terrence Crawford jumping up 3 weight classes in 2 fights. That would be a lot to ask of Terrence Crawford. And I'm sorry if people don't want to hear the truth. Terrence Crawford, brilliant fighter, great fighter, but that is just a lot to ask of him. And then once again, Canelo looks, and still at the end of the day, Canelo still looks weak. You actually would entertain the idea of fighting a dude who just very last year fought at welterweight. When does people go see the light in Canelo and accept the truth about Canelo? He ain't who he pretends to be. He ain't that dude. Whether you like it or not, whether he fights Belanga next, whether he fights Charlo next, Even though Charlo is more logical because he could move up one weight class, that would be a little more sellable. At the end of the day, Charlo couldn't even take out David Benavidez's older brother. He couldn't even take out Jose Benavidez. So once again, Canelo would be an overwhelming favorite. The only challenge out there for Canelo, and this is just real talk, you just have to say this. The only real challenge out there for Canelo, if he fights David Benavidez, because that's a sellable fight. It's not gonna sell no 2, 3, 4 million pay-per-views, but I think it's sell 1 million and some change. But it still ain't gonna be profitable if you have to pay Canelo $150 million to $200 million. It still would be considered a disappointment based off the fact that Canelo's asking for so much money. So he pretty much just said he don't want to fight. He pretty much said he don't want to fight the dude. All three of Canelo's possible next opponents, they're all cherry picks. Belanga doesn't have the experience. Terrence Crawford would be a blown up welterweight. Charlo is a dude that's having a lot of issues outside of boxing. So I'm sorry if we can't tell the truth, but that's just me. I'm not worried about people getting mad. It is what it is. Somebody got to say it. Somebody got to say it. Canelo is pricing himself out. He proved yesterday he has no intentions on fighting David Benavidez, and that's what it is. And he, based off the fact that he's concerned about David Benavidez's size. Nobody didn't catch that. See, I'm the type of dude, I'll pay attention to close stuff. When I'm really listening, when he said, oh, he doesn't bring nothing but 25 pounds. Wait a minute, man. If he makes 168, he makes 168. So basically, you are worried about his size. You worried about rehydration. So you pretty much already said that you're going to try to handicap the dude if you was to fight him. Canelo said this stuff. I didn't. But of course, you're going to get mad at me. You're going to attack me, which I'm not worried about it. I don't care. Somebody just gotta say this about Canelo. He priced himself out. That's pretty much it. He doesn't want to fight David Benavidez, and people gonna have to accept the fact. But anyway, I'm out.